the Far East, other wars unrelated to Iberia and Comintern were in progress. The leader of Japan, Vertiven, recorded the events in his two-part history series, which is our primary source for this episode.
As Japan founded Tokyo, a threat arrived in the south. Territory disputes caused a conflict between ourselves and the faction North Korea, which placed its capital in central Japan, violating Japanese territorial claims. After refusing to vacate the area, we resorted to war in order to remove them. We won 3 swift victories against the Koreans, then burned their capital to the ground. After this defeat, Korea was no more.
Later, a new Korean faction was founded called South Korea, and would experience their own conflict with Vertiven's Japan, but would manage to resolve this and coexist for a time, building a railway to link all of the Southeast Pacific. However, this rail line would be griefed by another faction and trigger another war. Vertiven's history remarks on this.
Terrorist group cadat is founded attacking the Asian Railway Project, Italy's capital, the French coalition in Paris, Dawn, New York, and Soviet Union. Over 11 nations declared war on cadat. Japan held the first summit in Tokyo to discuss action against them. 13 nations attended, 11 nations would go on to attack cadat, and 8 would survive. Many factions were destroyed. Italy, Dawn, Soviet Union, and France would fall by the end. Thanks to Asian reinforcement from Japan, Korea, and Fiji, the terrorists would be attacked from 2 sides and collapse.
Following this, yet another war would break out in the east around a new Asian faction called Dragonstone.
Dragonstone, the small nation that began under Korea. Although they created a huge issue placing themselves directly on top of the railway between Japan and Korea. Destroying the system and declaring war, Japan was forced to take action. Although they fought bravely, they didn't have enough to fight their 2 powerful neighbors and swiftly fell.
At this point, Japan was considerably well equipped and would use this advantage to overcome numbers greater than their own, which is evident in the next conflict that was to start.
Russia and Taiwan were 2 new factions that formed a coalition. The 2 nations declared war on Korea, our closest ally at the time. And so we declared war in support of them. Thus, another Asian conflict began. Russian forces were quickly defeated over and over again due to their lack of armor. Taiwan began setting fire to the forests in North Korea, and Russia surrendered after 7 consecutive losses.
The result of this conflict would be the disbanding of both Taiwan and Russia, as well as the solidification of Japanese and Korean regional power. Not soon after, however, this power would be challenged yet again.
The Sixth War, War of Japan, a rally against the empire, as 4 nations started and bound together in an attempt to destroy Tokyo and form a republic. As the factions Fushi, Japanese Republic, Shogun, and Nagasaki bound together, they attacked. Unable to do enough damage, their forces began to lose power. This led to their alliance splintering and Shogun to fold and disband. We attacked Fushi hard and they disbanded too. After this, the rest of the enemy coalition would go inactive and become conquered due to a lack of power.
After this war, another one would begin, one that would nearly bring Vertiven's empire to its knees.
A faction in the south was founded. Again, the empire would assert its claim on Japan, and we would attack in order to remove them. Although they were a new faction, they were not rookie players. These players were skilled, well-equipped, and well-organized. Not expecting such a staunch defense, we would suffer our first defeat in our time on the server. For the first time, we were on the back foot and forced to defend our capital, Tokyo. We dug tunnels all around the city and used them to trap the Southerners and defeat them piecemeal. However, they were quick to catch on to our tactics and would retreat once they realized they no longer held the advantage. After dealing with frustrating and indecisive skirmishes, the Southerners would withdraw from Japan and the wider East and pursue affairs in Europe, then later America.
At the conclusion of this war, Japan would adopt a more isolationist stance. This was likely due to a degree of burnout, and Vertiven's empire would settle into a period of reduced activity. Korea would disband and transfer its wealth and resources to Vertiven's Japan. The broader East would experience a peaceful time, not only due to Japan's new stance, but also the fact that less factions would settle in the region. This would not be the end of the faction, and Vertiven's Japan would remain the oldest faction on the server all the way to the end. Thank you again for watching. This concludes the early history. For this and more, be sure to subscribe.